Hello, guys. It's me again. I'm coming to you from my unmade bed, but it's quarantine, and it's definitely 2 in the afternoon when I'm filming this, and I got up for a little bit, and now I'm sitting back in bed, but, um, quarantine does crazy things. We're allowing ourselves a little bit of wiggle room here today. So today I really wanted to talk about, saving money. Something that I have been able to do over the past 4 months has been really save up our emergency fund while paying off credit cards, while still obviously maintaining a certain lifestyle that I prefer to live. And that's something that I would love to pass on to you guys. I know my situation specifically is a little unique because I'm pretty young. I'm 23, and I am married, so we have a dual income household, and we are making a very comfortable living for ourselves. And so I know with that, it affords me some more opportunity than other people may have, and I do understand that, but I think that there are principles that can be put in place by anyone. It doesn't matter if you work at a coffee shop or if you are a mechanic or an attorney or a doctor. There are certain things that can be put into place that can allow you to live more comfortably if certain choices are made. So I want to do a budgeting video. I want to show you guys how my husband and I have specifically budgeted for ourselves, and I would love to be able to include maybe a Google Doc or something in the description of that video, so that you can go in and plug in your own numbers, so that you have a really simple budget just to work from. So savings. Now, one last quick disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't work in the world of finance. I don't work in banking or anything like that. I'm just a random 23-year-old on the internet who has been able to make some pretty, pretty large advances on some financial goals that I have had. And I just would love to pass that on because I know a lot of us millennials really struggle. And if you know me personally, I know a lot of my viewers are people that know me in my personal life. You guys know that I have not been immune to that struggle. I have been there. I have gone through that. And that is really what encouraged me to start managing my money more wisely. And it has greatly benefited both me and my husband, even though he is, I had to get him on board a little bit more. But, we finally got there and we're in a good place, and I want to be able to share that with you guys, especially people who are paying off student loans. I'm right there with you, paying that off, paying credit card debt off. It's a tough world we live in, and I want to try and help you guys. Okay, so just remember, I'm not an expert. This is just my personal experience. This is anecdotal evidence, okay? This is not to say that if you do exactly what I do, you're going to be able to achieve the same things, because we're all different. We all have different amounts of debt. We all have different amounts of income. So there are variables, okay? Just take that. So take what I'm going to say with a grain of salt. But you can put most of these things into practice. Okay. So, savings. Step 1, I think savings happens before, excuse my lotion bottle right there. My hands have been so dry. Have you guys experienced that? Love that lotion though. It's from It Works, or This Works. This Works. It's great lotion. But anyway, sorry about that. You're just going to have to see it. Okay, savings starts before you even get your paycheck. Okay, how does that happen? Talk with your workplace. Most workplaces, with the exception of possibly like tip-based income, will work with you on setting up a payment plan with, an IRA, a Roth IRA, 401k. For example, if you work for a nonprofit, they have 403C, 403B, something like that. And you can work with your employer to start saving money, get money taken out of your gross income prior to taxes being taken out and put into a long-term savings account. For example, I've contributed to a 401k or 403b for the entirety of since I was, I guess, 18, because I have been pretty steadily employed, thankfully, and so I've been able to contribute to that. But I just got a letter in the mail, actually, that since the beginning of this year, I've been able to save up almost $700 in the first quarter of the year. So through March 31st, I've been able to save up almost $700 just before I even get my paycheck. I never saw that money. I don't know. I didn't know how much was in there. It just gets taken out, right? And I don't have to think about it, and I don't have to miss it because I didn't even know it was gone. And that is extremely helpful. I think a lot of people with lifestyle inflation tend to forget to pay themselves first. And so if you don't even have kind of an option, you don't miss that money. If it comes out before you even see it, you don't miss it. You just work around it, basically. So talk with your employer. They can get you set up with that. My HR department does it. It could be different for where you work, but that's who I talk to. I talk to HR. So that's a big help. You can save up hundreds of dollars in not a very large amount of time. Some employers will match you up to a certain percentage of your paycheck. So I would always recommend doing the max amount that they'll match you for. So for example, if they'll match you 5% of your paycheck, put in that full 5%. It's just free money. It basically doubles what you're saving. So I may have only put in, so we'll use the 700 figure, right? I may have only put in $350 towards that, but my employer put in the other $350. So you might as well get that, the maximum amount of money that you're able to. Now, if you have certain bills that take precedence and you aren't able to put in 5, 10, 15% of your paycheck, whatever it may be, then put in whatever you're comfortable with. But even putting in $50 a paycheck over the 40 years you're going to be employed, and that is, it collects compound interest, it collects all sorts of stuff. If it's invested, return on investments, stuff like that, it can really add up. So even just a little bit of your paycheck, put it away every month or every, 2 weeks or weekly, whatever, however often you get paid, and you will really see some great growth. And then that also impacts your net worth as an individual, and you don't even realize that you're putting that money away. So that would be my first tip on savings, is start saving before you even get that paycheck, because as soon as you get that paycheck, you're going to be tempted to spend it. You're going to be tempted to put it all towards bills and fun money and restaurants and eating out, getting drinks with the girls. Trust me, I know. So put some away before you even get it, before you're even tempted. There we go. Step number 1. Step number 2, once you get your paycheck, okay, it gets deposited on the 1st and the 15th, or the 15th and the last day of the month, or weekly, or, however often you get your paycheck, pay yourself first. Okay? Put away. So I try to do 10% of my paycheck and 10% of my husband's paycheck every pay period. Now, that might be too much for you. You might be like, girl, I can't put, $250 away, or I can't put, excuse me, $100 away, depending on however much you make, or even $90 away is too much. Then try putting 1% of your paycheck away. If you can do that, if you get paid $1,000 every 2 weeks, then take $10 out. You can skip going to Chipotle for one day and put $10 away, And if you do that, every paycheck, say you get paid bi-weekly, put $10 away every paycheck for, 26 paychecks or something, then you have $260 saved up at the end of the year, which is something to write home about, in my opinion. It's better than having nothing saved up. It's better than, eating at Chipotle one extra day every week and not having anything to show for your paycheck at the end of the year, or your salary, or whatever the case is, So always pay yourself first. Whatever you're comfortable with, take it out before you start divvying up your money for bills, before you start divvying up your money for, restaurants or drinks or whatever. Pay yourself first. You're going to appreciate it at the end of the year. You're going to appreciate having a little bit of a cushion. And you can even set a goal. You can, okay. I started really heavily saving when I looked at how much I was making per year, because I do have a salary position. So I would look at how much I was making every year. And I realized at the end of, my first year, I was like, dang, I have nothing to show for making X amount of money this past year. How is that possible, And I realized it was because I spent it. Instead of taking $100 out every paycheck, instead of taking $200 out every paycheck, I went and I spent that money, which didn't seem like a lot at the time, and it sure flew out of my wallet very quickly, but I wish I could have that money back now. You know what I mean? And especially once you start saving and you see how quickly you're able to save up money, especially if you make it a priority, you're going to realize all these years that you haven't been saving, you could have easily cut $100 from your budget and put it away. Or you could have easily cut $20 out of your paycheck and put it away. And it may mean making some alterations to your lifestyle. We're going to get into that as well. But it's for your long-term self to be better suited or more well off in the long term. So that's been a big help. Just putting into perspective how much I make a year. It's tax season right now. This is a perfect time. You're going to figure out on your taxes how much you got paid this past year. And if you have $0 in your bank account, which, trust me, you're not alone on that, there are plenty of statistics that say X amount of, I think it's like 1/3 of millennials don't have $1,000 saved up or something like that. So trust me, you're not alone. This is not something to be shameful of. It's something just to say, hey, this is the reality of the situation. I need to start saving. When you fill out your taxes, that's the perfect time to figure out how much money you made and where the hell did all that money go, So that's my second tip. Pay yourself first. My third tip is start a budget. Start a budget, okay? It doesn't have to be, if you go on Google, you're quickly going to get overwhelmed. It does not have to be this big, super in-depth, every single minute thing that you want to pay for, that you have paid for in the past 6 months or what. You don't have to go off of that. Write down your expenses, write down the things that you have to pay every month. You should be tracking that stuff anyway so that you know how much to save from your paycheck every month, right? So just write it down. It'll take 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's not hard. Rent or mortgage, utilities, lights, lights are a utility. Okay, sound like a dumbass there, but cell phone, okay, car insurance, car payment. These are all things that you should have kind of a tally of in your mind anyway, and just write them down. Have a visual of what you need to be saving. This also includes, okay, you don't need to go in so in depth as to write like, I'm going to set aside $50 for Starbucks until later. Once you get this basic budget down and you want to start expanding that and figuring out how much you want to set aside for luxuries, like Starbucks. But write down everything that is drafted out of your account monthly. Write it down, okay? And that includes Netflix, that includes Spotify, that includes subscription boxes that you have, that includes, even gas, things that you spend money on a monthly, weekly, bi-weekly basis, gas, groceries, budget all of those things, okay? And then that leftover money can start going towards things like your debt, student loans, credit card payments, stuff like that. But you first want to get an overall picture of how much you have to spend versus how much you don't have to spend. Now, if you're really gung-ho on making savings a priority, some of those things that you spend money on monthly may have to be cut out, okay? Netflix, Spotify, they may have to go. You may have to listen to those commercials in between every other song. No matter how annoying it is, you may have to do that, okay? If you don't want to cut those things out, if you want to maintain a certain lifestyle, trust me, I understand that too. And the solution for that is to have more income coming in. How do you do that? Okay? You can't just go to your boss and say, I'm not making enough money, pay me more, unless you have valid reason to be asking for a raise or, whatever the case is. But most of the time, you can't just walk into your boss and say, I'm not happy with how much I'm getting paid. I haven't done anything to prove myself. Now pay me more. Okay? So that means you're either going to have to start doing something on the side, right? Whether that's getting a job in a restaurant. Restaurants are really good because you get paid in cash, so you have that cash in hand, especially if saving is a priority for you. I know people who take all their bill money out of their primary paycheck, so their full-time position. They pay their rent, they pay their car, they pay their car insurance, cell phone, all that stuff. Groceries, gas comes out of that paycheck. And then whatever they make at the restaurant at the end of the day, they just put that into their savings account or into a jar or whatever the case is, okay? So that's one way to do it. DoorDash is another, super quick. I think it takes like a week to get approved on DoorDash, and or Uber Eats or what, one of those food delivery services. I know that they're also making a killing out there right now with, this whole crazy pandemic going on, people not wanting to leave their houses. Sorry if you can hear that. There's a helicopter outside. But they're making a killing delivering food right now. So right now might be a good time. If you're laid off, don't have anything better to do, or even if you're not laid off and you just want to make some extra cash during this time, start a DoorDash. You can do it at night. You can do it you make your own schedule. So you can just log in and hit send me orders and drive around until you find an order and, make some fast cash that way. And they get paid on a weekly basis, I believe. You can start an Etsy shop, and those little ways to start bringing in side income are going to help subsidize those more luxurious or extraneous things that you want to keep. I want to keep my Netflix subscription. I want to keep my YouTube Red. I want to keep my subscription boxes, you know? So how can I make that happen? By making more money, right? Okay. Another thing, this is kind of a 3A or a 3.1 tip. I don't know if this really counts as a whole tip on its own, but I found one thing that really helped me and my husband, and some of you are probably going to laugh, is giving ourselves allowances, okay? So we used to be subscribed to all these different boxes, especially me. For me, it was like, I don't do a lot of shopping. I don't feel compulsion to go and spend a whole bunch of money. But I also felt, on the other hand, that I really wouldn't do anything to treat myself. You know, I occasionally get my nails done, but I do my own hair, I do my own makeup, but I don't go out and buy makeup unless I need it, right? So how do I get all this makeup? That's something that I love to treat myself with, is, you know, finding all the new products or trying out new products. So I was subscribed to a bunch of subscription boxes, and so was my husband, right? And those are a huge chunk of change. They really add up fast, okay? So what my husband and I did was set up an allowance. Excuse me. Sorry. And every 2 weeks we get $100 each, okay? That's just what we decided on. That's what works for us. And it really allows us to tailor our spending habits to things that we find extremely important, right? So if that is a subscription box for me and I want to spend my $100 on a subscription box or a couple subscription boxes, cool, fine, great, go ahead and do it. If there is something on Amazon that he wants, go ahead and get it, sure. And then if something also is over $100, then we know, okay, we have to save for that. If it's something I want, then I need to not buy other things until I am able to save up enough cashola to buy this more expensive item. And that also, I think, psychologically really tailors your spending habits. If you tell yourself that I have this much to work with, you're really going to ask yourself what you value, what you want to spend that $100 on, because once that $100 is gone, it ain't coming back and you're not getting more, okay? That's something that has really, really, really helped control my husband and my spending. We do have other funds, like date night. Eating out was a huge one for us. My husband loves to cook, but he works 9 to 5 as well. And not every day did he want to come home and make food. And totally understandably, I don't blame him. I hate cooking, so I don't do it. So if he didn't want to make food, we would go out and eat. And so we started we called it a date night fund. And we allow ourselves a certain amount for the 2 weeks. Usually it's between $150 and $200, depending on, there's 2 weekends in the pay period or 3. And once we spend that money and it's gone, it's gone. We have to eat at home. We have to either have an elaborate gourmet meal that he makes or ramen if I'm cooking that night. So it's stuff like that if you put a cap on it and you set yourself to a certain limit, that is really going to help you save money as well and not go and spend it willy-nilly. And it's something that has really helped us control our spending. So we're not just throwing money out the window and at the end of the paycheck we're like, oh shit, where did all that money go? You know, how did we spend all that money so fast? So it is certainly beneficial to set limits on yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with setting yourself an allowance. You and your significant other, if you guys combine finances, or, even if you don't combine finances, but you want to start that life together, just try encouraging them and say, hey, I don't want to continue to spend our entire paycheck on one Amazon cart full of 15 different things that we probably don't really need. So how can we do that? Well, we can set a spending limit. And then if there are things that you both want, there have been many things that my husband and I are both like, oh, damn, we really want that. Like, for example, we have pretty much cut out drinking out altogether. Sometimes if we're at a restaurant and we're feeling frisky, we'll, get a mixed drink, or he'll get a beer or whatever. But for the most part, we have cut drinking at a restaurant, drinking at a bar completely out. So, but we, we're still in our young 20s. We still want to drink. So we both wanted a mixology set. And if that's the case, instead of one of you spending $50 out of your allowance, go halvesies with your significant other. That's what my husband and I did. We both chipped in $25, got this cute little mixology set, and now we're making drinks left and right at the house. So it's little things like that that will help you guys control your spending, or help you as an individual control your spending. If you don't have a significant other, of course, splitting things isn't really an option for you, but, just set certain parameters. And maybe $100 wouldn't work for you. Maybe that's way too high. Maybe give yourself a $20 spending limit. That's cool too. At least that gives you a little bit of wiggle room. You can save that $20 from week 1 and combine it with your $20 from week 2, and then get your nails done every 2 weeks or something like that, So there are ways to maintain a certain lifestyle without going overboard and putting yourself at risk of, things going awry or certain financial downfalls that can happen really easily. Those are my dogs. That can happen very easily when you're a young person. You don't want to get yourself caught in a financial trap. It's like quicksand, because, once you start going down, it's really, really hard to get out of certain financial holes, So I hope that this helps. Those are kind of my main tips on the best way to save. Hello. Tori's key. It's out on the TV stand.
Oh, okay.
Love you.
Love you.
Sorry, my husband. So yeah, those are my tips for you guys. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you took something away. Step 1, save money before you even get the money in your hand. Step 2, pay yourself first. Step 3, figure out your budget. Step 4, set boundaries for yourself and your spending habits, so that you're able to make big financial steps in the right direction. So, hope this helps. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If there's anything else that you guys want to see, please suggest it in the comments down below. Like I said, I want to do a budget video. If you're not interested, though, please let me know that as well. If you are interested, let me know. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys all are staying safe and healthy, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye, y'all.